Okay, I actually did think about what we should do for the thumbnail.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
this is the most planned one yet.
This is the most planned yet because I feel like we've been trying to do hard hands for each one, but I feel like for this episode, hard hands would work quite well.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do you think?
I do think.
Do you know why I say that?
I was thinking, I was thinking something swimming right.
Wait.
I was thinking like a shark, like a fin.
Oh, like a surf. Well, I was like, should we have surfboards?
Yeah.
I can see that. But
okay, you want it to be a heart because her heart has started.
Yeah.
It has restarted.
Yeah.
So it needs to be a bump.
Well, we could, but I'm like, hard hands, I think works, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's repumping.
But I don't know if we do it together or if we each do a heart. What do you think?
It's going like this. I know what you mean. It's we need to.
It's like CPR.
Yeah. Okay, we'll just do heart. Yeah, her heart has restarted.
Yay!
Bump.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, great. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I am Bekah, and this is my sister Katie.
Hi, everyone.
And this is our 4th video. Is that right?
Yes.
For our Sister Chat series, where we are talking all about the summer I turned pretty. First video, we covered episodes 1 and 2. Second video, we covered episodes 3 and 4. And then now you've been getting some one-off videos. We covered episode 5 in the last one, and this one we're covering episode 6.
Yeah, because things are really heating up. So we have more to discuss.
There's a lot to discuss. So let's dive into episode 6.
Let's go.
Okay, I figure basically every episode we've always started to talk about the title. So I think we should start off by talking about the title. So
absolutely.
Episode 6, title was Last Name. And I don't know if you saw, I posted on my Instagram story like my reaction when I scrolled down to see that, because I was really taken off guard. I was not expecting that title.
I was also really taken aback. I really like the name in retrospect again. I think that this whole episode, after watching it in full, it's a lot about parallels within families, I would say. And it's a lot within the Fisher family, Jeremiah and Mr. Fisher, their parallels, Conrad, how maybe he is different actually from his father.
Yes.
And then it's a lot about Belly and then her mom reconciling and her thinking a lot also about the wedding, the impending wedding, and things just getting more serious and about her own name and like legacy.
Yes.
And so I actually think that the name, it holds a lot of weight. And so actually I really liked the thinking of this episode again too. But yeah, it was not something that I thought about beforehand, but it's very fitting, I think, for a last name to have been one of the episode names.
I think so too.
With the wedding coming up.
I think so too. And I think in a lot of our brainstorming, I hadn't really thought of it. It makes perfect sense that it would be an episode title. But I think I would have thought it would be later.
Sure, like the wedding
episode or something. So I think it's interesting that it happened this one. But I did think it made complete sense given especially what happened like during her bridal shower and everything. And then I was thinking kind of how we were rethinking some of the episode titles given last episode's title. I was kind of thinking, I wonder if maybe these episode titles are also meant to help us pull out, as we've been talking about, these big themes and ideas from each episode. You know, last episode being the last dance and that being such a pivotal kind of scene, or in the Last Supper, how that dinner lunch scene was such an important scene for that episode. Last Christmas, like the huge pivotal scene of that episode was the Christmas kind of montage, right? So I'm like, I wonder if also it's meant to direct us to kind of these key moments of particular episodes.
I think it's exactly that, but then also trying to have all the different layers.
Yes.
Where it's not just supposed to be one specific scene, but it's supposed to be multiple characters where it applies to.
Yeah.
So this is why, obviously, when I saw Last Name, I thought, okay, this is applying mostly to Belly and like the decision she's making with the wedding. She's rethinking things. But then after the episode, I was like, actually, this applies so much to the Fisher boys in terms of like their last name and what it means to be a Fisher.
Yeah.
And I think it also made me think, okay, well, actually maybe this plot point of Belly keeping her last name will actually stick, even no matter like who she ends up with. Actually, it might be a bigger growth moment at play. And just kind of the idea of like her name being her own person, even if she does end up in like a loving relationship. So I'll be curious to see actually where that whole kind of motif goes with her last name and the journey with her last name, maybe.
Yeah.
But I loved how it hit on both Belly's journey, but also it really called back to a lot of the scenes with Jeremiah and with Conrad with their dad.
Yeah. So should we dive into the beginning of the episode?
Yeah.
So this one opens up with Belly and Jeremiah, and they're at Adam's house, Mr. Fisher's house. They're on the air mattress. I thought this was kind of a funny opening to this episode, and kind of especially given how the last one ended, is just like a bit of contrast. And I don't know if this is reading too much into it, but I kind of also thought like the fact that here's Belly kind of crashing with her fiance on an air mattress. It felt kind of disheveled, disorganized. And it feels a little bit like Jeremiah, again, as we've been talking about, is like pulling her down to his level.
The contrast, I think, absolutely. And just it, again, being like, now they're so dependent on Mr. Fisher again. Again, this is like not kind of their wedding anymore. Things are really like out of her hands. Yeah, it's kind of back down to his level. In terms of kind of their current circumstances. So I did find it like a comedic moment. I think it was also interesting. I wasn't sure what time period we would be in, like how much of a flash forward, but it had been about 2 weeks, which is some time.
It's substantial.
Yeah, and I think it was
to be crashing on an air mattress.
Substantial, but I think it also shows like how lonely Belly was feeling without Jeremiah, and she's kind of like, I can only do this with him right here. Like even when they were separated, and obviously they were texting and like calling, she still felt like so isolated, and she just felt like she was so doing everything by herself. So this is why she's kind of like, I have to literally be here with you to get through this, which again is not a great situation.
No.
I think something that was interesting from the onset of the episode is after they get out of the bed and then you see Mr. Fisher and Jeremiah talking, and he's kind of like, how much longer is he going to be here for? And then Belly is singing in the shower. Okay, and originally the first time I listened to it, I was like, it sounds a little familiar what she might be singing. And then when I went back and like replayed it a few times, I heard that she was singing a bit of Complicated by Avril Lavigne. Which is one of my favorite songs. Like when I was younger, I loved that song. I would play it on repeat. Song. And I think that song choice from the start is so interesting because she is actually singing the part about like how individuals like put on another front for someone else.
Yes.
And then she's like, why do you have to go and make things so complicated? So I'm like, it's going off of maybe literally her earnest thoughts about why is Conrad like making things so complicated for me now because I'm torn.
Subconsciously, it's coming out.
Yeah. She's like belting in the shower. And I'm like, that seems like an intentional choice that Jenny added in. And I only really realized because on the Spotify playlist of The Summer I Turned Pretty,
it got added.
And then I was like, wait, it is the song that I thought it was.
Okay.
And I went back and listened. But I love how it kind of starts with that headspace. I think, again, it's like a lot of this is bubbling up. And she's getting really torn, but it's already coming out even through song.
Yes. So, that is interesting. I hadn't realized that was the song, and that is one of my favorites.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Like such a throwback, too. Also, later in the episode, we get the whole flashbacks of her being a child and kind of singing in the mirror in the bathroom and that kind of thing.
I like that they had the parallel later, though, because it's kind of like, even as this older individual, Belly is still Belly.
Yeah.
And so I like the parallel that she's still, like, singing in the shower.
I agree.
Like, she would sing in the car.
Yeah.
Like, that is really her.
That's like an intrinsic part of her character.
Yeah. I wanted to share that with you because that was a big find.
Yeah, that is a big find.
And I thought, whoa, we're really starting with that then.
Yeah.
I think what also struck me from that original sequence with Mr. Fisher is it has been 2 weeks, which is some time, but you could tell he was already like over it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, he said he was going to support, but he doesn't really know what that actually means.
Yeah.
So I think, again, it just kind of shows some of his promises, things, it's hollow. You know, like he says he's gonna, be a part of like the wedding, be a part of this all now. But does he actually know what it means? Not really, because even after 2 weeks, he's like, I'm kind of done with this.
Yeah. Some of his frustrations felt a little bit valid. It seems like the two of them could have been, better house guests than they were being, which I think again kind of throws back to
they're not ready.
They're not ready. Yeah. So they could be more thoughtful and considerate given the living situation and him putting up with them.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that even Jere was like, you could be cleaner. And I'm like, interesting, because I think with Conrad, like she's been living with Conrad and
well, this is what I was thinking too. It seems like when you're with Conrad, maybe you are cleaner and more organized because he is. He's kind of bringing that out of you, like you're both matching each other. And then here in this situation with Jeremiah, you're both just kind of not cleaning up after yourselves. You're a mess together. Yeah.
Or I also thought it was that, okay, Conrad just has like more bandwidth in terms of being like, it's okay, like more grace. And I just felt like Jere is already getting a little bit agitated when he, especially in this episode, he does many things that are very aggravating.
Very aggravating.
Again. So I'm like, you have no patience when there are all these other things that are much greater, I would say, responsibilities that you're dropping, and then you're harping on this.
Yes.
So I think that's a double standard.
Oh, 100%. Double standards all throughout this episode.
Yeah. Then they talk about how they want to go apartment hunting to find their own space. And then it kind of segues into like that whole compilation of them like going
trying
apartment
out different
hunting.
Spots.
Yes. And like the first spot is so nice, and they're like really excited about it. Yeah. And you can tell in that moment then how like Belly actually has been responsible in thinking about their future together and seeing if it's actually viable. And I think we have seen sprinkles of this where I think like Belly has conceptualized what it actually would mean for them to get married and like finances, all of these different things. Yeah. And Jere is like so head in the clouds. Yes. Like, has no idea.
Yes. She's ready to sign
She's
on
ready.
the dotted line.
Yeah.
And then Jere basically has to kind of confess.
Yes.
Credit score is not going to be good enough because I got Bruins tickets.
which is also shocking because I mean, this is book consistent, but the fact that Belly is like, your dad literally pays for your credit card, so how can you still make this error?
This is shocking, and I was surprised as well because I was like, he's paying for everything for you,
and you still mess up,
and you're still in credit card debt.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make this happen on top of the debt that you're already in towards your father? He has his own credit card bills that he's not even paying.
It's just the cacao cake and then the Bruins tickets. And then again, like the things that she did care about a lot more and should matter a lot more. He's not willing to actually maybe go into debt or take on those expenses, like where they're going to live literally as newlyweds.
Yes. And I think you were saying last video as well that he can get really fixated on frivolous things that just don't really matter. And this is just another example. Like, I'm just going to blow a bunch of money on Bruins tickets, which, okay, fun in the moment, but like this is, a huge decision about where you're going to be actually living.
Yeah, it's not long-term thinking.
Yeah, long-term thinking.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think he's supposed to be a finance major, right? I was like, this is another academic advisor situation. I'm like, how can this happen? You know better.
Make it make sense.
You know better. You just caught a big error at work for your dad.
Well, this is why it doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, how did he so quickly find that error at work, and then in his own life he's so completely clueless?
You need to be more careful. Yeah. So that was very frustrating. I felt for Belly, definitely.
Yeah.
And then I felt like she was trying to problem solve, find a compromise, find other spots, and he was just kind of like, let's get this over with.
Yes.
Rushing everything.
Exactly. He was, as long as we just get it done, it doesn't actually really matter.
Yeah.
And like, it takes the time to do some things that matter, and you should be willing to take the time. But it felt very much like he just wanted to get out of there and be done with it.
Exactly. And this is the foundation for the rest of their lives.
I know.
And I think it's also obviously going off of what just occurred, which is she was doing all the wedding errands by herself.
Yeah.
He wasn't even there.
Yeah.
The next time he is present, but he's not really present.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, this is not the first time. This isn't in a vacuum. If I was Belly, I would also be feeling frustrated.
For sure.
So it's starting to all really add up. And then she's seeing, the contrast with Conrad, obviously. Yes. And that's starting to, in her mind, she's starting to see that a lot more.
Yeah. And it's kind of clear, right? Even here at the beginning of this episode, given what has happened last episode, that she's feeling off kilter herself, right? Something happened with her and Conrad, and she's like, there was a moment there with the peach scene and everything, and so she's kind of purposely trying to put space and I think like really like working overtime to try to make things work with Jeremiah because of what has happened.
Yeah, and literally avoiding cousins because she's like, Conrad is there. And it's honestly the same thing that Conrad was trying to do to keep distance. He's like, I know.
Exactly. It's a parallel of the beginning of the previous episode where Conrad was like, I need to put up space. And now Belly is like, oh, now I need to be the one to put distance here.
Yeah, so it's hard because she is trying, but other circumstances are leading her back to cousins.
Yeah. So Belly goes back to cousins, basically kind of forced back to cousins, and she walks in the door, and Conrad is sitting in the kitchen, like at the counter, and I love this scene because he's got on like his headphones, he's eating his like chicken lunch, and he's like doing a crossword, and it feels so like this is Conrad in his kind of natural element, right? Like,
this is Conrad, every day.
This is every day. It's like so chill. It's so
low-key.
It's so low-key. It's like this is what he's doing when he's all alone at cousins. You know, I'm just going to eat my food that I've made for myself. I'm going to do a little crossword and listen to my whatever he's listening to.
It was a really sweet moment.
Yeah.
And just funny because they haven't seen each other in more than 2 weeks, obviously. Yeah. So he's startled and they kind of, this is their first locked eyes kind of moment again.
Yeah.
After they had a very close encounter with the peaches.
Yes.
So I love how he's like, oh, like, you're back. You know, trying to catch up a little bit, trying to get kind of a better sense of the temperature between them. But you see throughout the episode, he's already, again, trying to care for her. And he's like, there's chicken.
Yes.
I know that. Like, I can only cook chicken, but it's there for you. Yeah. And I think that reoccurring motif as well throughout the episode where he's really looking out for her and noticing the small things, again, is really meaningful.
I think so, too. Yeah. And then she goes from there onto the country club. Yeah, which is a scene from the trailer, so we knew this one was coming in the classic red dress.
Well, so I actually was a little surprised because I had thought maybe that scene was going to come later.
Yeah.
I had seen it in the trailer, but she looked so mature and grown up. But I think they were really trying to show, again, the contrast between Belly last time she was at the country club.
Yes.
You know, when she was
so young.
And then now she's mature, taking like the next step.
Yeah.
But it's a really nostalgic moment as she's like seeing everyone prepare for this year's ball and being like, the last time I was here, I was dancing with Conrad. Obviously, it's like the flood of memories are coming back. Yeah. And so I loved that they did have this scene at this time. But I was like, oh my gosh, like they're really showcasing, you know, how much time has passed actually since she was last at the country club.
Yeah, I thought so too. I loved how she went in there and was coming across as really like trying to have a handle on everything that was going on, even though it feels like even at this point, like the wedding is getting way out of control.
It's getting insane. Yeah. And she's kind of like, it's all of these corporate individuals that I don't even know of. Again, this was not my vision. This was not my hope for this wedding.
Yeah.
Kayleigh has like completely really taken over the planning. And there's all these, you know, details that I'm out of my depth. Yeah. I also thought it was fun how Jenny Han was like in the back of the scene. So I think this is her third appearance.
Oh, I was going to say second. Okay.
She's been,
voice.
She's been the voice of the cat.
The game. Yeah.
Stephen's game. And then I think she counts her appearance in the crossword puzzle.
Okay.
She is counting
Got it. All right. Okay. So I wasn't completely off. I gotcha.
This is her third appearance, but her first as a human.
Yes.
But she was just walking in the background.
I like the little cameos.
I couldn't tell. I don't know if I'm reading way too much into this. I thought some of the other characters also looked kind of like parallels to like Cameron kind of, or like, you know, almost like younger versions of like her friend
You mean
group.
the ones that you would see in there preparing?
Yes, as they were leaving. I was like, is it kind of callbacks to kind of create this mirage of like your younger
like the
version?
Like next little generation. Yeah, I thought so too. I did think so too. Because one of them had like really curly hair and
like,
stuff.
That's Cameron's
Yeah. I was there with you.
I need to zoom in and look further.
Yeah. And I think even if it wasn't meant to be directly mirroring or anything, I think just that idea of like, you know, life is going on. There's a whole new generation of community growing up and starting their own lives and everything.
One other thing I want to mention about the country club is that this is a departure from the book, where now Mr. Fisher is paying for the wedding.
Yes.
And it's going to be at the country club, and it's 100+ people. And so I am wondering for the future episodes if we're going to get a little bit of a bigger kind of wedding moment, because I think in the book it's all pretty quick how everything dissolves. We have a lot of episodes to go actually, and not a lot of book content left. And so I'm wondering if Jenny was like, I'm gonna create ultimate chaos. and the choreography and like having this huge event, it's like you can't necessarily cancel an event like this without there being more repercussions and more drama. And so I am wondering if it's, laying the foundation for a chaotic altar scene or rehearsal dinner of chaos or something.
I was thinking similarly, because even when we get in the scene later on when Denise is talking about, she's coming to the wedding.
I was like, Denise is invited.
Go on, Denise. And it's like, the whole office is going to be there. Like, these are people that he's working with on a close level every day. What if and when it falls apart?
It's very public.
It's going to be dramatic.
It's very public. So it's really setting the scene for 150% drama.
Yes.
Then the episode takes us back to the office with Jere and Steven and Denise. And you find out, as we were saying, Denise is invited to the wedding. I thought that was a cool twist, because I was wondering how she would be included. And I do think there might be more of a moment, perhaps, with Steven and Denise.
For sure.
And so that's kind of setting things up. Also, maybe to have it with Taylor present and her being jealous or something. Denise is really growing on me.
She's growing on me so much. And I felt for her a little bit, because I felt like, especially in this scene.
She put herself out there.
She put herself out there. Like, you could tell she really was hoping for, to be able to hang out, for something to happen.
Yes.
And Steven just wasn't there.
So Denise was like, do you have any plans this weekend, and do you want to hang out?
The girl put herself out there,
She did. And I think, Steven is not ready.
He's not ready.
Even if he is interested in Denise, I think his heart is still like healing, and he's still torn. Sure, and he's like, I'm about to go back to literally my ex's house. This weekend.
Which is a way to stop the conversation in its tracks.
Yes. But I did love their moments during this episode, and kind of the evolving relationship that is emerging. And also, I mean, this is jumping, but
go on.
Her seeing his talents, believing in him, and being like, you know what? Like, you have an awesome product and idea, and we both should not be stuck working, kind of not utilizing our pure, like, curiosity and our love of gaming. Like, we could actually do this.
I know.
And I actually do think, even if there's not a romantic endgame for them, I think we have noticed, like, they're good partners. And so I am excited for, like, a business kind of possibility with them. I can really see that. But I also still felt a little bit of a romantic
I still do
connection.
too. I do too. And and I agree with you. I think whatever happens, like, at the very least, the business partnership will be awesome, because I loved that she could recognize that in Steven, and I think that meant a lot to him. And for her to come over and just be like, got a business plan, like, let's do this. Like, so cool.
Giving him the push to really, like, realize his own dreams, too. And I think also betting a lot on him. She's kind of like, huge. I don't come from a wealthy background. This is a lot for me to bet on. But I believe in you, and I believe in us.
And she was kind of saying even that, like, she's been looking for something like this, like, she's been keeping an eye out. Now that she's found it, she's like, let's do it. And I love that spirit in her, and I love that connection that her and Steven can have in this. So I think there's something really sweet in that relationship there that I personally really love.
I'm rooting for them.
I'm rooting for them. It's so sweet.
It's really sweet. And I do think that Steven and Taylor and Conrad and Belly are kind of foils. And I think that in some sense, though, you can see how Steven and Taylor, their relationship has been so tumultuous. Like, over time. It has not been a healthy relationship. And I think that for Belly and Conrad, like, they've had distance. There's a lot of development that actually they've both kind of worked on. Belly to come like there's still more growth that she has to do, but I think it's a very different type of relationship. And I now I'm questioning more like if they would have them actually both end up together, because they're kind of foils. And I think it would actually be more interesting, my opinion, to have like Conrad, Belly end up together, and you don't have Steven and Taylor end up together and be like, these are people who were so kind of infatuated when they were younger, but once they kind of realized like we can support one another, we can be friends, but like maybe we actually shouldn't be together, and that's okay. And they both have other relationships and like end up elsewhere. I don't know. I could still see them being Endgame, that being a version, but I'm almost like, I think it would be a more interesting story actually if they didn't end up together.
I agree, and I think it would be quite nice to have that contrast as well, right? Because I feel like we get the Endgame version with Belly and Conrad, but also there's a nice realism, I think, in saying, you know, it doesn't always work out that way, and that's okay. Like, a lot of times that can be really good for you. Like, you mature and you guys grow in different directions, and that's not a bad thing. And for you to find someone who maybe matches you better on this level of what you've grown into now, like, that's cool to develop. So I'm curious.
I'm curious. I think what's hard is that as a viewer, we've only really ever seen them, they're kind of infatuated and then fighting. We've never really seen it where it's like calm and stable. And so I think that's why for me, I'm like, without the fighting, actually, like, what is their relationship? It just feels like a magnetic pool back and forth. But actually without that, it's like, can they just like sit in silence together?
Like we see Belly and Conrad, for sure.
Like, are they their safe kind of place for one another? I actually don't think so, in the same way where like for Conrad and Belly, it's like all their conversations are able to reveal like the most vulnerable parts of themselves and feel like that person accepts them. And like, and I think it's partially because they're like the main characters. And so we're just getting more of that. But I feel a big difference. And so I am curious to see how that continues to progress.
Yeah, and I think along those lines, like, we are seeing some of that with Steven and Denise, right? Of both of them being able to push each other towards their future. And that's what you want in a relationship. So it is tricky. It's like, if that's not endgame, then what is the purpose of what is going on here? Could be just to support each other as friends.
And have the business partnership. But I think it's hard for me not to compare and be like, actually, this feels like a more mature, healthier fit. But we will see. I think the workplace scene is also really important because you see that Jere sees from the outside that it seems like Kayleigh and his father are not just, you know, professional colleagues. And that's kind of how he finds out that there is at least something going on, at least right now. He still doesn't know about, you know, the previous affair, but you can see like his mind is starting to turn a little bit. And then later on, he understands a little bit more about his dad even wanting to bring Kayleigh to the wedding. So I thought that scene was really interesting. You can obviously see kind of like the shock and hurt on his face. I think it's interesting, like, he hasn't brought it up to Belly yet. There hasn't really been time in this episode. So I am wondering if we're going to get anything like that. Because it's like, I think he's trying to process and figure out. And he feels very uncomfy. But this kind of segues into the whole car scene where, you know, Conrad, Mr. Fisher, they're all there. That is a crazy car ride. It is very reminiscent. I think people have been talking about how, you know, there was a car ride after Jere and Belly first kissed. After Conrad, you know, came back from his exam.
And she's wearing his hoodie and kissing his brother.
Horrible. But, you know, he's in the back seat and Conrad turns into sassy Conrad. And he has like some of his best phrases and moments. But you can see him kind of turn into sassy Conrad again because Mr. Fisher is like, I have someone important in my life. Actually, you know her. It's Kayleigh. And actually, I want to bring her to the wedding. And Conrad knows about the affair. And he's like, interesting. Like, you can see he's about to blow a fuse. But he keeps it together.
He's clearly upset, but he keeps it together.
He keeps it together. I thought at some point in the episode he might erupt.
Blow. I thought so, too.
I think we're still going to get that, maybe. But he did keep it tempered. Kudos to him. That's
Kudos to him. And I thought even that interplay between him and Jeremiah and the way that they both kept looking each other, I thought was, like, we've talked about their brotherly relationship, and I felt like there was a lot of Jeremiah looking to Conrad at, like, how are we supposed to react to this?
How should we navigate this?
How do we navigate this? And Conrad clearly having more information about what's going on kind of I feel like you can kind of see in his face, like, how do I navigate this?
I know.
With this extra knowledge about the situation.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. Like, it's very complicated. There's a lot of layers going on here. And I did appreciate, like, it still felt like even with everything going on, like, they're both kind of looking to each other. And I felt like there was still care, a lot of care on Conrad's part of, like, how do I help Jere, like, through this?
Yeah, because he also understands that Mr. Fisher is literally, like, paying for the wedding.
Yes.
So he can't necessarily be like, Kayleigh shouldn't come. Like, you know, he doesn't want to blow everything up for Jared too.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
the concept, like the idea of it is maddening. You know, the idea of this woman being at this wedding is gross.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting if, you know, there's a conversation with Jere and Conrad where it all comes to a head.
Yeah.
Or Jere's going to learn more information on his own and then realize Conrad, like, kept it from him. And that's going to feed more into, like, this bigger brother argument. I think that conversation was also very telling, and so was the whole sequence, I think, of the two brothers and their dad hanging out.
Yes.
Because you also then have the conversation about, like, is Conrad bringing a +1?
Yes.
And then I think
Jere bringing up Annika.
Yes, I think that Jared's comments, you could see that it was, like, so consistent with how Mr. Fisher thinks about like, women and, like, his viewpoints, and it was very disappointing, obviously.
It was very disappointing, and I felt, that this whole conversation, how Jeremiah says to Conrad, like, why don't you bring Annika? Like, Belly has a hot best friend.
Which is also a weird thing to say.
Weird thing for you to say about your fiance.
Like, there's so many other things. Like, they have known each other for quite some time.
Yeah.
And there's, like, so many other things you could have said. Like, she's hilarious. She's like, cool. An awesome person to hang out with. Like, so many things. I think he picked, like, a physical attribute, which, again, is, like, very maddening, I think. And I think, again, trying to show us, like, his viewpoint versus Conrad's. And, like, how he views other individuals.
Yeah.
And then it was maddening also how, you know, Conrad was like, what would be the point? Like, I'm going back to California. And then
which is such a mature response. Like, I don't
want to lead anyone on.
I don't want to lead anyone on.
Yeah.
And then Jeremiah literally saying the opposite of, like, isn't that the point? And him and Adam laughing about that. And I was like, oh, it's so gross.
It's really gross. And I think, again, it was to show us right now Jere is a parallel of his dad. It doesn't mean that he can't grow and he can't change. And I really do think the way that the storyline is going, I think the affair secret coming out is going to shake Jere. And I really am hoping that's, like, what makes him start to reflect on his own morals and his own treatment towards women and things like that.
Yeah.
But right now it was like, you know,
there were two peas in a pod, and poor Conrad's there trying to hold the higher moral ground.
Yes. So that was horrible, and also crazy. I was not thinking that Kayleigh was going to be at the wedding. It makes sense.
It does make sense,
but that's also horrifying.
It's horrifying, and Conrad's reaction is totally valid of being horrified. So I think
would crash out. And I'm also wondering how Belly will react. Like, I'm almost wondering if Belly is actually going to be the one to reveal to Jere. I don't know. I think this whole time she's like, it's not my place.
Yeah.
But I think for her to find out, like, Kayleigh's literally, like, invited to our wedding, I feel like she'll be like, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's a huge mess. But obviously the secret is going to come out.
Yeah.
And I think that the ramifications are going to be huge.
Yeah. I think so, too. And then all of this kicks off, right? Because Jeremiah is sitting in the back seat and he gets a text from Belly. And Belly has told him that her mom is going to come to the bridal shower. So they're kind of talking about Jere saying, like, oh, like, she's coming. I guess that means she'll be able to come to the wedding, right? And I think he even says something like, I told Belly she would come around. And in my mind, I'm like, so you knew that Belly was very, very upset about this.
I know.
And you did absolutely nothing. Whereas here Conrad,
the most aggravating part,
does something about it. And he's sitting there in the front seat hearing this news. And you just see him, like, have a little quiet, like, smile of, like,
I know.
Like, oh, like, it's working out. And he doesn't say anything. And,
yeah.
I think he says, like, that's great or something.
I know. So then we need to talk about the whole Conrad conversation.
Yeah.
So Belly comes back from the club back to the house and Cousins, and Conrad is, like, working on the sprinklers.
Yes.
But he can see that, you know, she's not, like, her usual positive kind of goofy gung-ho self. And he's kind of like, you know, what's going on? And he can just tell that this whole time she's been quite down. I think what's interesting in this scene, and a lot of people have picked up on this, is, like, visually you see, like, all of the blue
the flowers and then the one red.
You see one red, and it's kind of like her love for Conrad is like reemerging, and the red, like the seeds that he had planted. You know, it's all coming through still. So visually, that was a really cool moment.
Yeah,
he can tell, you know, that she's upset, and he knows why. Yeah, because Laurel has not been a part of like this whole process. Yeah, he knows how much that means to Belly, and she's not eating. She's not eating.
So he opens the fridge right after they talk. Belly goes into the house, and then he like goes and opens the fridge, and he literally had made her a plate.
I know, that was such a husband move
with
too.
The like sticky note being like, "Eat me,"
the little smiley
with
face.
The smiley face.
And I love how he included the cookie because he was like, "That will make the difference. Like,
I know.
It will encourage her to eat it." And
it's really sweet. And she hadn't touched it, and then he notices that she's not eating, so he sends the text.
Exactly. I'm like, literally, Belly was with Jere for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and he did absolutely nothing.
He did nothing. Oh. And then he's like, "Oh wow, like I gotta."
She's back for one day, and he's making moves.
He's making moves, and he's like, "Okay, I want to meet with Laurel."
Yeah.
And then it's so sweet, their whole diner scene. I think this paralleled too with Belly and then with Laurel.
Yeah.
And at first, you know, Conrad is like, "Do you want to eat anything?" And she's like, "I'm not hungry," but he knows that she's suffering just as greatly as Belly is.
Yeah.
And that she's not eating either. Yeah. So again, it's just like this. His ability to read.
Yeah.
And also to be able to care about Laurel just as much as he cares about Belly.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, they're both family.
Yes.
You know, and I think Jere, of course, he tried initially, and then Laurel was like, "You're not ready." But he hasn't really shown anything since then to show that he is ready.
Yeah.
So I felt like he did kind of give up very easily.
Yeah.
And here's Conrad, who's not even, you know, her fiance, who's really being like, "You really should be there."
Yeah. I really love this moment as well, because I feel like in the last episode, we were really tracking all of these moments where Belly said the opposite of what she really meant. And Conrad was so easily able to read her and do the exact opposite because it was what she needed. And I felt exactly like you said in this moment, it was like, "Do you guys want to order?" And Conrad's like, "I'll take this." And Laurel's like, "Nothing for me." Yeah. And Conrad's just like, "Two." He's insistent. He does it quietly, but he does it confidently.
Exactly.
And he just knows. And then you see Laurel smile. Like, she's so grateful.
I think that whole conversation, it's like they can be so real with one another.
Yeah.
Honestly, it kind of reminded me of wait, this is a crazy parallel.
Okay, go on.
This is not saying anything about the characters themselves, but it's a little bit like Katniss and President Snow, where they're like, like, we don't lie to one another.
Oh, you know? Like, you just be real.
You just be real. Yeah. And there's very few relationships
where you are just straight with each other, but it does feel like they have that. Yeah.
Laurel is kind of like, "I can read you, Connie. Like, I know. And I know you haven't told anyone actually how torn up you are about this, but I also know this is killing you."
Yeah.
So I think that level of like innate, you know, reading of one another, really important.
I think so too. Yeah, I loved the whole scene. I loved their chemistry with each other. I thought it was just a beautiful, especially like that he's lost his own mother, but that he's found this other motherly figure who's her best friend. Like, I just think it's really beautiful.
It's really sweet. I don't think it should have taken Conrad talking to Laurel, because obviously Belly came and she was in tears, you know, asking her mom to be there for her. And then John came, and John is another adult being like, "I'm going to be there for Belly. You should too. You are going to regret this." I do wish it hadn't taken Conrad at the very end. But I do like that she was open to hearing like what he had to say. Honestly, I think she had thought that Belly was more okay than she was. Yeah. And then she was willing to be like,
you know what, she does need seems like she doesn't need me. Yeah. Right? Like, she seems to be doing fine. So there's like she feels kind of left out.
Yeah,
right?
Cut out of the picture. She's like, everyone else is a part of this and I'm not.
Yes.
And that's why I think going to the bridal shower, which like occurs next, it is so important then how Belly is like, "I want to keep my name."
Yeah.
And I think in that moment, her mom is also kind of like, "I am a part of this." Actually.
Yeah, that's
like,
really meaningful.
I'm not being cut out of this.
Yeah. Can we talk about the bridal shower scene? Because I feel like when Belly walked in the door and then she like spotted her mom, and I feel like I'm gonna cry right now.
No, I also wait. I'm so emotional as well, but you go first.
Well, I just feel like this is the most. I'm like gonna cry right now. I feel like this is the most. This is 100% the most I've cried this whole season. Like even more than Susanna's deathbed, which I was crying. But like to me, this felt like so emotional.
Yeah.
And like the music.
Yes.
And the choice of the song of like time after time, and that like it was like a lot. I don't know why I'm crying right now.
No, I was not expecting it to be such an emotional moment.
I wasn't either.
I felt like it was the best moment of the whole episode.
I agree.
To me, it also felt like a Rory, Lorelai, even when they reunited, and I was like, this means so much. This means so much more than a boy.
It does. I think I kind of knew that it would be that meaningful, but I was like, I don't know how exactly they will show it.
I know.
To make it that meaningful. And I was just like, everything from like the way that she reveals her mother and like their looks at each other. And then like the music of it saying like, if you fall, I will catch you. I will be there waiting. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good.
Wait, it was so good. And you know what also took my breath away?
What?
The song choice is incredible. It was even more meaningful because I realized that it was a cover of the song and it was by an artist, Len Stella, who I've been following for years because her and her sister went viral for this song, Call Your Girlfriend, which was also a cover at the time. And they did like the cup song to it. But they're a sister duo. And like for years, their voices are like angelic, stunning. And she has some of my favorite songs. And so when I heard her voice, I was like, this moment could not get any more perfect or meaningful.
Sweet. Yeah.
And I think it was like a little bit of a more stripped down, softer version of the song.
Yeah.
So that was also incredible. Like the realization at the same time. I love the reveal, as you were saying, because it's like she was so happy, obviously, to see her girlfriends.
Yeah.
Like she's been so lonely again and isolated. And it was really sweet how they were like, people from her childhood, like her neighbors. I wasn't expecting everyone to be there, actually. Yeah. Like, it really was a collective.
Taylor did a good job. Yeah.
Taylor did a great job. But obviously, the person that she cared about the most, she was not expecting her mom to be there. And so that moment was really beautiful.
So sweet.
Yeah. So I really appreciated that.
So well done. And I agree with you that it did remind me of Rory and Lorelai. Yeah. And I think just how it's so quick.
It's so quick, but like, it says so much.
It says so much, and it's just like in that moment, like all is forgiven, right? Like they're reunited and like they're back together. And,
I know,
and you don't even really need to have a conversation about it. It's like
I know,
it's just
the look and her just being there. I think she's like, oh my gosh, she's coming to the wedding. Yeah, like everything. Yeah. Obviously, not everything is resolved, but I think a huge part of Belly feeling so unkiltered was her mom not being a part of this process.
Yeah, not feeling the support. Yeah. And like just her presence of like, I'm here for you, I think was just what she needed.
And how she baked also, like
her lemon square.
I know, it was really sweet. So I think the whole bridal shower really loved like the support that actually Belly was getting. She's really been missing kind of like the girlhood
community,
I would say.
Yeah. I feel like this whole season we've really only seen Belly with basically one other person. Yeah. Of Conrad, Jeremiah, Taylor.
Yeah.
And maybe her dad driving her in one scene, Yeah. So she's really not had people around her. So it was really nice to see her in this setting where like people had really come out and were there to just love on her and support her.
I know. So that was really sweet. And then they played games and she was opening presents. Mm-hmm. I think this is a really important sequence to talk about when she's opening up the different gifts.
Yes.
One, she opens up like the photo album from Monica, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if she's met Conrad.
Interesting, yeah.
Because like Conrad has been gone.
Yeah.
So my theory actually is that like she's going to see Belly and Conrad together and kind of be like, wait, there's like something here too.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was interesting how she gave the photo album. Obviously, they're getting married, so it like makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know though if Taylor would have given that.
Well, exactly.
The second gift that you see Belly open is like a stationery set, and then it says Isabel Fisher.
The last name.
Yes. And then I think this is like the big climax for the name, obviously, of the whole episode. Which is then Belly being like, wait, I'm seeing like my name, and this is so real. And actually, this is actually happening?
Yeah.
And do I even want like Fisher as my last name? And you see her, she's processing this live like in front of everyone. And then you see her be like, actually, like I think I'm gonna keep my mom's name.
Yeah.
And that's a special moment with her mom as well.
But I thought that scene was really pivotal and quite deep because I thought the second that notebook stationery came out, I was like, oh, she's going to feel conflicted because I imagined that she might have spent her whole childhood writing that name, dreaming about Conrad, right? She's going to be like, I've dreamed about this happening my whole life, but it was about the other brother kind of thing. That was what I was expecting to be going on in her head. So I was actually really surprised when it felt like on a much deeper level of like, oh, I don't even know if this is the last name I wanted. That kind of took me off guard. I think it created this really nice moment with her mother. But it took it to a different place than what I was expecting because I had been expecting the whole brother.
I completely agree. I almost thought there was going to be a flashback of her like writing in her diary.
Exactly.
But I think it does make it a lot deeper. And I think it's trying to show us again that she was very sure at the time that she said yes about like her love for Jeremiah, but she wasn't necessarily thinking about
the future,
what marriage and like how final this is and how fast this is all happening. I think she says it a few times where she's like, it's all like happening.
Yeah.
And this is like the first time she's really seeing it written and she's seeing all of her loved ones around her and she's like, this is happening. And actually maybe I do need to slow it down. You know, so
after the gift giving, kind of classic bridal party game, right? Is to kind of do a how well do you know your fiance? So Annika's asking these questions and basically Belly is acing the test, right? Like and Annika's like, you've gotten all of these right, and Belly's like, I've known him my whole life.
Yeah, I'm so sure about him.
Yes, yeah. So she's like so confident. The last question is asking, what was the question?
About Rosie. What was Jere's first pet?
Yeah. And she says Rosie, the dog, but then she also says, I remember because this whole story happened where
like Rosie was rescued and then Jere was so distraught.
Yeah, and he was crying in his bed.
She had this whole vivid memory that was like so meaningful to her from their childhood.
And you can tell that colored how she viewed Jeremiah in her mind, right?
Yeah. And she attributed it absolutely to Jere. And then Steven is like...
Steven chimes in, right?
Steven is like...
That wasn't Jere.
It was Conrad. Yeah. And then Belly's like, no, my entire life.
Belly doubles down.
She doubles down, but it's starting to, you know, this moment she's realizing, actually, can I be certain about everything that I do know about him? And can I actually be so certain that I know who he is?
Yes. Well, and I was thinking that she is even kind of replacing Conrad with Jeremiah in her mind.
Yeah.
Kind of subconsciously, but attributing things that Conrad has done to Jeremiah in some ways, right? And you can tell she's just trying to convince herself. No,
totally.
That was 100% Jeremiah.
Yeah, and I also think it's just that moment. I think she talks about it in the book as well. Where she's like, that was like an important like childhood memory.
Yes.
So for that to not be attributed to Jere, like that does...
It shake
her up to her core.
Yeah.
You know? And she's just kind of like, how can I be wrong?
Yeah.
I should know this person back to front, you know? So yeah, I think again, it's just, it's really getting down to like some of the inner conflict that is rising up.
Yeah. So then that moment leads to her going to Taylor, right? And I thought she did a great job with the bridal shower, but my frustration with Taylor this season, and maybe even all seasons, has been that she's been so pushing of Jeremiah. And to be fair, it's because Belly hasn't been open to her. But I'm like, can you not see in your friend, can you not read in her that there is this conflict and that she is really struggling? Because when her and Belly are talking on the couch and she tells her, you're so lucky that you know what you want. And like when you know, you know. And I think statements like that, especially given where Belly is in this episode, come across as like, you don't know what's going on in your friend's mind and heart at all right now.
I know. I think the reason why Taylor is saying this is it's very much the situation with Steven and her like projecting, where she's like, Steven has shut me down.
Yeah.
Like,
so I can't have what I want, kind of thing.
And there is love there between us, but he's like unwilling to even like proceed. And so she's kind of like, if you both are on the same page about you loving each other, like go for it.
Yeah.
Don't question it, like move forward. And it's because she is so much, you know, in her own situation. So I I agree that there's a lot of warning signs here, and Belly comes to her, during the bridal shower and is kind of like,
upset.
I'm kind of having like some thoughts.
Yes.
You can kind of see, the armor coming off. There's a crack in the armor.
Yeah. And I think she views her job as maid of honor to be taking on this role.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, as best friend, should we be reading between the lines here, Taylor?
Yes, and correct me if I'm wrong, is this the part where Belly is also like, Jere and I are going to weather the storm?
Yes, and
she
does
like,
say that.
That's crazy language to be using.
I was like, that's trauma kind of language.
Yes.
Like, she's basically always attributing Jeremiah to like this kind of trauma response. Like, I'm with him because I have to be, because
and we're gonna get through this. I'm like, you should have to get through your wedding.
No.
Like, even you saying this is a big red flag.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's concerning.
It's concerning. I do agree there's red flags emerging here. And this is why I'm like, maybe Annika will also see her interactions with Conrad and be like, excuse me.
What's going on here?
Yeah, so I'm interested to see kind of her role in this as well.
So then we see Laurel as she's kind of about to leave, right?
Yeah.
And she offers Belly this gift. And I think it's so sweet. She gives her a passport, and Belly immediately is like, I'm not going to Paris. And she's like, no pressure at all. Just, it's there for whenever you need it. And then she also gives her these airline gift cards for her and Jere to go on a honeymoon. And I love how she says, like, the world is out there for you.
And you should see it.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like, don't let this limit you.
Don't
like,
let it
still
hold you
go
back.
and see the world, and like, you need to experience the world. And so that was a huge moment.
Yeah. I thought it was a really, like, gentle kind of nudge without kind of putting up a big, why aren't you doing this?
Yes.
It's like, well, I will do what I can to give you a little push out the door.
Yeah.
And the rest is kind of up to you.
Yeah, it felt similar to Conrad, where they were kind of like, don't forget.
Yes.
Still do it.
Yeah.
Even if you're not going to do it right now, still do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for Belly to remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was a sweet gift.
Yeah. And then I thought it was really nice because her mom is like, are you going back to...
I think her mom is like, I'll see you at the wedding.
Oh,
and then she's like, no, like, actually,
I was thinking
I'll see you tonight.
Home.
I thought that was really...
like, made me cry again.
Yeah.
It was just really sweet.
That, and I also think Steven being like, oh, I'm also going to crash at home. And I was like, they're finally reunited.
all going back.
And then I also love how Steven is like, they've made up.
And then he's like, also, I'm the best man in the wedding. Bye.
I know. That
she's
was
like,
great.
I already knew, Steven.
That was a great moment.
It's so cute.
Yeah, but that was really my hope for this episode, that we were going to get kind of Belly, Steven, and their mom all back together, and that she would feel comfortable enough to like be at home. Because honestly, it's like she's been at Mr. Fisher's, she has not felt comfortable.
Yeah.
Even at Cousins, she doesn't feel completely comfortable. Like, she honestly is craving home.
She needs a safe space.
It was the one place she couldn't go back to, And so,
giving my tears ricochet.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, so I was so pleased for her, and I was like, oh, we're going to get another kind of mother-daughter bonding moment, which we did later in the episode.
Yes.
It's this beautiful montage then of Belly being like, growing up, I always had these musical movie nights with my mom, and it's the tie back to Bye Bye Birdie, and you see them like watching Bye Bye Birdie when she was younger, and she was obsessed with that musical again, and this is important to kind of like the whole storyline, because again, Bye Bye Birdie had a character named Conrad, and there's a song, We Love You, Conrad,
which is the song that's literally playing in that scene.
And she's like brushing her teeth and she's like singing the song. And then you see the grown-up Belly and her mom in present day, and instead of watching Bye Bye Birdie, which is, I thought maybe they were going to just watch the same movie again. You actually see her watching
Funny Face.
Yeah,
and it's set in Paris.
And you're like, oh my gosh, there is like development here. And it's kind of a little Easter egg, hopefully, for her to actually be in Paris very soon. And not giving up that dream, and that being like her new reality. Like, she's not stuck on Conrad anymore, at least right now, in the same way. Even though he's like still in her heart.
I thought that was nice too, even the way that the scene set up of, being right on young Belly and Laurel, and then Bye Bye Birdie playing on the screen, and then coming back up, and it's the grown-up versions, and as you say, they're watching Funny Face, and it did feel like not only have they physically grown up and gotten older, but Belly is, you know, kind of upgrading
her dreams.
Yes. Yeah.
And another thing, there was another cool Easter egg in this moment when they're looking for the film. I think they're looking for Funny Face. You can see La La Land.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is a cool connection because Mr. Fisher, Adam, is in La La Land.
Wait.
He is the
Who is he
person that Emma ends up with at the end of La La Land.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Which is a lot.
No, wait, no.
No, it's a lot to handle.
That's so disturbing to me right now.
Yeah.
Oh, gross. I can't even. No. No.
I'm crying.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot. But I thought, whoa, they're showing us La La Land. I was like, is it just a nod to like the actor? Or is it also like the devastation of La La Land? But that was a lot.
Oh my gosh.
I zoomed in and I was like,
oh my gosh, wait. Oh no. I don't know if I can watch La La Land the same way again.
You can.
It's a small scene. Wow, he's really got range, man.
He has range.
An actor.
He has range.
So unlikable as Adam.
Yeah, that's great acting.
Wow. Okay, I need at least 13 business days to process that.
Yep.
Okay. Well.
But I think that whole scene, I think, again, it was just laying the foundation for Belly still going to Paris, hopefully, and the growth that she is going to experience.
Yeah.
Again, I'm interested to see how that's going to play out, how she, like, ends up in Paris.
Yeah.
But I think, again, it was kind of like, don't shut the door on your dreams.
Yeah.
And then I think them being, you know, literally, like, we have repaired our relationship enough that, like, we can be this close again and have, like, our tradition. Like, that was a really full circle moment as well.
Exactly. It felt like we are back to that kind of really close relationship of mother-daughter.
And this is why, you know, Belly is like, we are so
back.
We're so back. Not that we ever were.
Yes.
But I'm like, yeah, you're right. You couldn't do this without your mom. Like, it just, there's no way.
There's no way.
Okay, so Jere, Conrad, and his dad are trying on their suits, getting ready. Conrad is like the main one, kind of getting his suit tailored and fitted. And then Jere and his dad are like drinking. Yeah. And it's just so interesting.
Another parallel
where you're like, they're the same person right now. And I hate it.
I know.
But they're just, you know, kind of talking. It feels very much like locker room. Male talk. Yeah. Which is like really gross and annoying. Yeah. But you can kind of already feel like Conrad is like, I don't want to be here.
He's like distanced, right?
Yeah. And then you see them later at the steakhouse. And then, you know, they're just talking a little bit more. It feels like Conrad still has to really keep up this, like, you know, perfect facade.
Yeah.
But then he's kind of like, you know what? Like, I am going to just be like, I did get fired.
Yeah. He
like,
opens up.
Yeah. I'm just like annoyed at, you know, people continuing to put me up on a pedestal, including my dad. And like, it's just so infuriating. And also, I think it's, again, to show us, like, Conrad, at the end of the day, like, he's going to tell the truth.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't paint him in the best light. Yeah. Even if it doesn't make him look good. Yeah. He's going to be truthful. Yeah. But Jere and his dad, like, they care so much about what other people think about them. Yeah. Whether it comes to their food choices, whether it comes to like, what they're wearing, when it comes to, you know, like the topics that they discuss, all these different things, they just care so much. And Conrad is like, I'm so not of this world. I'm actively trying to not be. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And I think also in both of these scenes with the suits and then here at the dinner, we've had it all season, right? But Jeremiah is so desperate
for his father's approval.
Get his father's attention and approval. And I feel like in the suit scene, you see that like him and his dad are chatting, and then his dad kind of gets sidetracked by Conrad, and you can tell Jeremiah is like frustrated and a little bit like, how do I get this back? And then in the steakhouse, again, you can see that Jeremiah is really seeking after the attention. And then I think what I really hated in this moment when Conrad tells his dad that he got fired, and I feel like I looked at Jeremiah's face and I was like, he wants his dad to be disappointed in Conrad. I felt like this is my chance to be better than Conrad. Exactly. And I was like, it's so awful.
It was awful. And I think in that moment, like, their brotherhood has been restored to a certain point. Yeah. But it did feel like in that moment, like he was choosing his dad over Conrad. Like, instead of being like, oh dang, like
how
I feel
can I
so
support
bad
you?
for
It was like, this is my chance to be number one.
Exactly.
And I was like,
which
oh
sucks.
my gosh.
I really think like Mr. Fisher, he's the root of all of this. He's caused a competition.
Yes.
He's caused such a situation that Jeremiah is like begging for his attention, and he's always lavishing it on Conrad, and Conrad doesn't even want it in this manner because it's so much pressure. It's like he has really created it, but again, Jere is playing into it, and Conrad is like actively trying to not be a part of this. And so this is again the reckoning that I think is going to occur. And I really hope again Jere really reflects and is kind of like, I don't want to be my dad. And this is why I would love if it's the storyline is much more Jere being like, I can't marry you, because a lot of these pieces, like I can see that Conrad loves you, you love him. Like I need to remove myself instead of it being
Belly.
I think that would show a little bit of initial growth.
It would.
For his trajectory. Yeah. Unclear if that will happen, but that would be a cool change a little bit.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I think because you were talking a bit of last video about how, you know, even Gavin, actor for Jeremiah, has said that this is episode 5. He had said was the start of a character arc. I was like, I feel like we're still very much in the downward trajectory. But maybe this is rock bottom, because honestly, this episode aggravated me even more than the previous one. Like, because the active just, you know, kind of reveling in Conrad's struggles. I was like, so awful. And yeah, just his irresponsibility, his inability to think about the future, all these things. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's really coming to a head here.
It's coming to a head. We do need to remember that from our vantage point, we don't think that Jeremiah knows yet about the affair.
Yes.
I do think once he finds out, he's going to do a 180 on his father as well. Conrad has already done that.
Yeah.
It doesn't excuse his current behavior by any means.
Yeah, and especially towards Conrad, who has only been incredibly gracious.
He has been fixing the whole house for this wedding.
He is doing the most for this wedding.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Very upsetting. And I think this episode, again, I think was really to make it clear to the audience, Jere is on a dangerous pathway, following his dad, not caring about people's emotions.
Yes.
Like, he does not have like the right viewpoint in terms of a partner and like infidelity and things like that.
Yes.
And I think again, hopefully it's going to be the stark contrast where he's like, I don't want to be this. I'm going to choose better.
Yeah.
But we will see. Next episode too for him, it's not looking good. After the steakhouse, I think what was also interesting is, you know, they're trying to part ways, but then Mr. Fisher is kind of like, Conrad, like, I want us to still, like, hang out. Like, Conrad is coming up with any excuse. Like, I want to hang out with Steven. Like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And then he's also like, I want to do tea time with you, Jere, so you can meet the partners. And honestly, at this point, they're both kind of like, I don't want to hang out, but they're kind of like, we feel forced.
Yeah.
You know, so I am interested in seeing if maybe the tea time actually at the golf course is where like maybe Jere will learn more about the infidelity previously. Like maybe there'll be like whispers and chatters. That's how he finds out. I don't know if he's gonna find out from Belly or he's gonna find out from Conrad.
Yeah.
You know, it might all come out in a later argument between them. So yeah, things are very tense between them.
Yeah.
I felt like how it left.
Yes, I think so too.
So the next scene that we have to talk about is the most important scene of the whole episode.
Yeah.
And so this is back at Cousins, the house. And Belly is
writing thank you notes.
She's writing a thank you note
for a bridal shower.
Yeah. Yeah. She sees Conrad leaving to go surfing. You see his back. This is also where I'm like, Belly, wake up. Like, you should not be looking at another guy who is not your fiance in this manner. Obviously,
his brother. Come on now.
You're still interested. But she's kind of, honestly, it kind of painted him in the same light that, like, he was painting her in the previous episode.
Sure.
Yeah. But she's just, you know, she's working on wedding errands again. She's carrying on. she hears that Conrad comes back. He's like limping and he's like blood is trailing.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my goodness. He's like, I got cut by my fin.
Yeah,
you know?
he's like wipe out, right? Like had a wipe out.
Yeah,
and she's like
on his surfboard.
yeah. And she's like bad, and he's like, nah, not too bad.
He's trying to downplay it. He never wants
As
anyone
he
else.
does.
He never wants to burden people, but you're like clearly injured. He's like limping, and then she sees the droplets of blood.
I know. So she gets up and then walks over to the bathroom.
Yeah. Then she
sees the blood.
Sees that he's not okay.
Yeah.
And then it's pure cinema.
And then it is pure cinema. And I mean, okay, this moment, as Swifties, we had talked last episode about how Taylor's music would reemerge in this season. And I have to say hats off to you, Jenny Han, because this was the most incredible way you could have done it.
Absolutely.
I think this moment between these two, the fact that when Belly and Jeremiah had their breakup scene and it was Taylor's last song, first episode, the end scene, You're Losing Me, where we talked about how that heartbeat is so integral to that song and that moment. You hear her heart stop. That episode ends with the words, my heart won't start anymore.
Yeah.
And then here in this scene, Jenny Han adds in this heartbeat to then go into False God. And the parallels here, it's mind-blowing. My jaw was on the floor the entire time because the last time we heard False God was in the first season of the show, episode 4, 4th of July episode, which we talked about quite a lot in the last episode. In this scene, her and Conrad basically have their first almost kiss moment, which is huge. And there's so many parallels in this scene now, in season 3, episode 6, where you can tell that there's this moment. Belly is very much feeling this moment. So to use the same song, to use the same, like, kind of feel in the scene, for both of them, I was blown away.
I was on the floor as well. I think it was so smart because, yes, we did talk about how can Taylor Swift, like, the soundscape reemerge in the show. And I think with the heartbeat start, I was almost like, okay, does that mean this entire time she has said, I love Jere, I am in love with Jere? But it's like, actually, all of this has been like, her heart hasn't been in it.
Yeah.
You know, she's been saying it because they were together for years and years and years. She wanted it to be true, obviously, but she wasn't actually feeling it. And this is the first time where it's like her heart has restarted. Her heart is really in it and she's really actively feeling it again.
Yeah.
And so hearing the heartbeat, I was like, she's reawoken.
Yeah.
She's reawoken.
Yeah.
And then it makes so much sense. Taylor has been such an important part of a lot of these different
storytelling in the show.
Now it makes total sense as to why there's been an absence of those songs in the meantime, and then to reintroduce it in this fashion. At first I thought, okay, we're going to get the heartbeat and it's going to be a different T Swift song, because there have not been any repeats of a song in the series yet.
Except
in
for
this
one.
manner.
And not in this manner, but we have had This Love Twice.
This Love Twice.
Which is like, I feel like the Belly Conrad anthem.
Yes.
So I was like, to get the second repeat of this second kind of
really
Belly
important
Conrad anthem. Yeah.
To have the themes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my goodness, we're getting a recreation.
Yeah.
And then I think that you can see, obviously he's in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Like I think he's not even
conscious.
I think there's a little bit of like interest for him, but he's mostly in pain.
Yeah.
And it's really her, like, she kind of goes in a couple times to almost like kiss him. Like she can't like stop herself. Yeah. And then she's like, oh wait, he's like not going in for it.
Yeah.
And he kind of shuts it down. I think for a couple different reasons. I think one, he's like not a cheater. Yes. And so he just like wouldn't do it. No, and then secondly, he's just like in pain. Yeah. So, but I was like, whoa, these are really, really like intimate moments. Yeah. And I think obviously the peach scene, he was feeling it so much. She was starting to crack a little bit at the end, but this one, as she says, she's like, this one was all me.
Yeah.
Like, I was really feeling it. I was getting Leonardo DiCaprio vibes, the wet hair.
Oh my gosh.
Romeo and Juliet.
Well, and like, she just, wet hair is her favorite. Conrad has wet hair, and we've had these moments. I'm like,
yes. And then I think it was so clever. I think the end, you know, where she's like the parallel of like, what have I done of Conrad?
Yes.
And then what did I do? What did I almost do?
Yeah.
And both of them being like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that parallel is intriguing as well, and Jenny did that on purpose as well. So I think that whole scene, again, it's the tension has been building the whole episode, but she hasn't been seeing Conrad, and honestly, she's been trying to keep away, and then it's like she's forced into close proximity with him because obviously he's injured and she cares about him, and he's obviously again trying to do everything on his own, and she's like, I can help you and I will help you, but she's really like, oh my gosh, my feelings are real. And I need to start, confronting them.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I thought also, because right after that scene, I immediately went to go make an edit with False God from season 1, episode 4, and then this new scene from season 3, episode 6. I found it really interesting because they both just fit together like a puzzle. That feels really intentional, of even using those parts of the song so that it fits together just like a glove, and then they both come together to like end the same way with this chorus. Like, so smart.
Super smart. And I also think in the original Almost Kiss, obviously it's the firework.
It would have happened if it hadn't been for Jeremiah's firework.
Yeah, but it kind of feels like he's initiating. I mean, they're both interested. But it's kind of like he's the one. She wouldn't just like kiss him without him like initiating. But then in this one, it's kind of her like initiating a little bit. And he's, he's not exactly on the same page because he's in pain. But I think that is also an interesting twist.
I did wonder, like, is Jeremiah also kind of interrupting this moment? Like, is he at all in her mind of like, I cannot do this because I am with Jeremiah.
That's really smart. I think he is interrupting. Even if he's not physically there.
Even if he's not in the room, he is like in this way, he is both interrupted these pivotal moments.
Oh, I like that. But absolutely.
Like, Jeremiah, you're still getting in the middle here.
Absolutely he's interrupting. But I don't condone cheating.
No, not at all. I was screaming, don't do it, Belly, because I was like, not like this. Like, we need... I mean...
Oh, that's fair. I think a lot of people were saying, this is the only time.
All the comments are like... And I was like, I understand. It's hard. And I want her with him as much as anybody, but I'm like, I want it in the right way. I want it in the right way. And I feel like they both would regret it. In that, like, they would have regretted that moment. They would. I don't want them to have a moment like that they would regret. So.
No, totally. And this is why I'm like, I think he was not even trying to entertain per se, because he would want the boundary. But it's getting really hard for them.
It's getting really hard, and I agree with you. Totally got the Leonardo DiCaprio kind of vibes from the hair, and I feel like whoever was doing the lighting in that
lighting
scene
technician
deserves like the biggest bonus.
Absolutely.
Because my gosh.
Snaps. I was like, oh my god.
So
the
good.
The lighting was its own character.
It was
in this episode,
as it has been kind of in the season, right?
I don't know. I think the idea of you're washing away all of the
mess.
Well, the mess, but also it's just like, these are the true feelings.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't hide. Like, I'm washing it all away, so you can't hide behind
anymore.
I don't know. I think there's just a lot of symbolism in this episode in general.
Yeah. And I think we've talked a lot in these last 2 episodes about how Conrad has been taking care of Belly, because he's really just gone out of his way to look after her. But the fact that in this scene, the way it ends is like her really caring for him. I think is also a nice parallel.
I think it's important for the balance of the relationship that it's like
more even.
She can also take care of him, and also he allows.
And he allows.
Think initially he's resistant, but then he's like, okay, actually.
I think they're both so not wanting to bother the other.
Exactly.
And
he's literally like hobbling.
He's literally bleeding all over the floor.
Excuse me. I also think it's sweet. He's like, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm like, and she's like, should you be doing that?
And he's like, that's a concussion.
And I'm like, she's like, I don't want this moment to end.
She's like,
are you sure?
I was like, surely Belly would know. Like doesn't everyone know that?
No, I just think she wanted to stay in that moment because it was like that perfect moment again for her. I feel her, but it's challenging. So I think a lot of the feelings are bubbling back up to the surface. And I think this segues well into kind of the next episode, what we think will occur. And I think that because we're leaving on this really intimate moment, I think the next episode is going to open with her maybe dreaming about Conrad.
It would make sense.
That's what we've kind of been waiting for, like the dream of Conrad and him really starting to be top of mind for her.
Yes.
So I do believe the next episode will maybe start with that.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like there's been a lot of parallels in this episode about Belly as there was in the previous episode about Conrad, like Conrad's kind of trajectory. I feel like Belly kind of took that journey a bit in this episode. So I think the bubble has kind of burst a bit for her now. Like they both have kind of reached this place where they're like, can't deny these feelings anymore. How are we going to move forward from this?
Yeah. So I think that she'll have the dream about Conrad, but then try to avoid him.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I cannot see.
Well, because she's
this person.
She's still trying to convince herself that Jeremiah is the one.
Which is also why I'm like, the one could be in the next episode.
Interesting.
Maybe. What are some other events that you think will happen in the next episode?
I think we could be getting the bachelor party. And
I think we will 100% get the.
Okay.
I think that this episode is mostly going to be the bachelor party, and I even believe we're going to get the confession.
You think so?
I think we're going to
end that would be confession. A lot. Oh gosh.
To me, it makes a lot of sense. I'm like, you can't. It's built up to this much. They're bursting at the seams.
That's true, and like each ending of every episode has felt even more. So we need kind of like you need even more for the next episode.
I think so. I think it makes a lot of sense for some of the events leading up to the bachelor party to happen.
Yeah.
For Conrad to hear that Jere was in Cabo without Belly and what happened with Lacey.
I think he's going to blow up about that.
He's going to blow up about that, and then he's going to come and tell Belly and be like, I'm so sorry, you have to hear from me. Jere cheated on you. And she's going to be like, I know. And he's going to be like, what are you doing? You're not who I thought you were. And it's going to be that whole scene.
Yeah.
And then I think they're going to be fighting. And it's going to be like, don't talk to me again. I can't see you.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going to be like, tell me you like feel the same way. And I think it's going to end on that. To me, I feel like that's the right pacing.
Yes.
I think before the bachelor party, we're also going to get a conversation, though, between Taylor and Belly, perhaps, about Conrad encouraging Laurel to come to the bridal shower.
I agree. And that will be, I think, maybe like one of the final drops in Belly's mind of like, wait, Conrad is doing the most.
Exactly.
Like Conrad is doing everything I need. And for him to have orchestrated our whole reunification with my mother, which was like the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be huge.
That was the thing. Honestly, the one thing was to have the wedding at the house.
Yeah.
But maybe the one thing of most was her mom being
there. I was thinking that too.
So it's kind of like this was the most important thing. Yeah. If there was anything that Jere should have been working on, it was trying to help repair, this relationship and have her attend.
Yes.
So the fact that it was Conrad, that is huge. And that's going to really swing her feelings, I think. I think we're going to get that confession actually from Taylor. That actually I heard from my mom that Conrad encouraged your mom. And she's going to be like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to get that flashback to the glass unicorn. And I think that will pair really nicely. She's going to be thinking about like how he always did care. And he got her like this thing that she really treasured. Just like how he got her mom. And then I think we're going to get... It'll be interesting to see how maybe they add in some scenes for the bachelor party, perhaps. Like, I think Redbird is going to make his big return. It's going to be Jere's. It's going to be Jere's frat bros, And I'm wondering... I think they're going to have a scene they get all super drunk and then Conrad is a designated driver or whatever. So there's going to be a lot that's shared. I don't know if we're going to get any scenes prior to that to give us like more world building, maybe with Redbird. I don't know.
It would be nice to see some more kind of like how we saw with Belly, even in just a short way at the bridal shower of some of the relationships around her. To see that for Jeremiah. I think that would be nice.
It would be. Yeah. And I also think we'll probably still get a little bit of Denise and Steven working on their business maybe together.
Yeah.
And I'm also wondering if they will then somehow feed in Jeremiah finding out about the affair in the same episode too.
That would be a lot.
It would be a lot, and I don't really know how they're going to do it. Like, maybe he finds out prior to the bachelor party, and then he's super drunk, and then he's, like, so upset during the bachelor party, too, about that.
Maybe.
And he's, like, drinking, and he's like, my dad. I don't know.
Yeah. Or I wonder, I feel like maybe could be that this next episode is rock bottom for Jeremiah in terms of his character arc. Because I feel like when we find out about bachelor party, maybe he's also just acting, like, kind of gross and sleazy and all this kind of things at bachelor party. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next episode, episode 8, is when he gets the bombshell realization of this is who my father really is. This affair happened. Then I need to start cleaning up my act after all of that.
That could make sense as well. I definitely think we're getting the bachelor party, though. And I think we'll get the confession.
Yeah.
And I think it'll end with, like, Belly walking away. And then maybe even reuniting with Jeremiah and he's drunk. And And she's like, I love you, Jer. But it's actually, like, she's burying her feelings for Conrad.
Yeah.
I think it's going to kind of end with that. And I also think, honestly, we don't have that much of the book remaining, and we have many episodes to go.
Yeah.
And I really think we're going to get multiple, maybe 2 episodes
in
to compare it.
Yeah.
So I think they need to move through, and we need to get the confession.
Yeah. I think
we need to get it. Because there's some more tumultuous things that occur after the confession.
Yeah. Do you have thoughts on title?
I almost think it could be called Last Confession.
Oh, that's nice.
And I was thinking this because I was like, if it's the confession of the affair, and the confession, the love confession, and then the confession of Jer cheating, we get triple confession.
Wow. That's a lot. Okay, that's a lot.
And then they could also have this is my confession. That song.
Okay, cool.
That's one option.
Yeah.
What are some of your options?
I was thinking Last Chance. Because I thought, like, maybe, I was thinking if we get bachelor party and then Conrad kind of sharing his feelings, like, this is his last chance to kind of maybe try to get Belly.
I think Chance makes a lot of sense as well. I almost felt like Chance would be a little bit closer
to the end.
Yeah. I think maybe more with Conrad.
Yes.
Disrupting things towards the end.
Yeah.
But I can see Last Chance for sure. I do believe we're going to get Last Chance sometime this season.
Yeah.
I can't tell if it'll be the next episode or not.
Yeah. The one I've said the last 2 episodes is Last Call. And I think for the bachelor party, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I think I also said Last Secret. I mean, things that are really similar to Confession Secret.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jenny would be that on the nose, per se. But I also just feel like the scenes in my head that I can already see playing are these big confessional moments.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what else can it be other than confession?
We'll see.
But I will say with Last Name, I think it introduced a new category for me where I always thought that the name was going to be a phrase more so.
Yeah.
And Last Name is very much, it's like it's
a thing.
Yeah. And so I'm like, honestly,
it's anything's up for grabs here.
Yeah, it could be last many different things.
Yeah.
Like I think maybe Last Round, like at the bar as we've talked about. Last Round could also be interesting if there is a golf scene.
Yes.
With Mr. Fisher.
Yeah, tea time.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But we'll have to see. Again, I have been over
6, but that's okay. It's
but
hard.
Last Confession, I feel has a chance.
All right. And then any song predictions?
Okay. I think that as Belly is daydreaming about Conrad.
Oh, yeah.
I think after that, maybe Scared of My Guitar by Olivia Rodrigo will play.
Okay.
Because that song is all about you knowing something. Like, you're like, I'm not listening to my own feelings.
Yeah.
And I can't bring myself to be like, actually, we shouldn't be together. I'm like scared to listen to my own intuition.
Yes. Okay.
That could be interesting. I also think, we're gonna get some real bangers at the club for the bachelor party.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's gonna be some low, like a G6. It's gonna be some of these songs that were played at like middle school, like high school parties.
Yeah,
throwbacks. I think we're gonna get a scene of the boys walking in. And it's
doing a boy band kind of dance
with the fur. Don't you
The
think?
whole club was
I
looking.
think so.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Could be.
And then there is a song by Girl in Red called Confession.
Oh, okay.
I think that would also be really good. It's a very short song, but the lyrics of that song would work wonderfully. I think with Conrad and Belly.
Okay.
I think for T-Swift songs, I really think Say Don't Go would be incredible, especially at the end when it's like, I say I love you.
Yeah.
You say nothing back.
Oh,
and
that's
then
good.
It's dark screen.
Oh gosh.
That is my hope.
That's
I really think.
I love that.
I think it's gonna be like, I love you, Belly, and then she's gonna walk away, and then it's gonna be.
Can you imagine? Wow, that would be crazy. That would be good. That would be good.
Yes, and I love that song.
Yeah, that was your favorite from the Vault Tracks on 1989.
Yes. So I think that would be absolute cinema.
Okay.
I could also see The One.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would be in the next episode after the rejection.
Yeah, I think so too.
And also last time I can still see it. Last time
at any
Evermore. It could happen at any point.
Yeah.
But I just think she'll have a very quick snippet.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be very long because it's going to be a very emotional climax. But I would love Say Don't Go.
Yeah, that's a good guess. I like that one a lot. I was thinking if there ever was a time for Guilty as Sin, this beginning of next episode, if she's daydreaming about Conrad, I'm like, this is the time.
It is the time. And a lot of people thought the bathtub scene, it would
have been that. Interesting.
I had thought that. I had almost thought that was what was going to start playing.
Really?
But maybe it's too on the nose.
Maybe it's too on the nose for that moment. And I feel like
it wouldn't have made the same emotional impact as obviously using the same song where you're like, chills. Yeah. So perfect choice. I could definitely see Guilty as Sin.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she would start it with another T-Swift song immediately.
That's true. But I do feel like, given that now we've re-entered the Taylor Swift soundscape, I'm expecting the songs to come rolling in now. Okay.
I understand. And this is why I'm like, last time could be quite good.
It could be good. I think so.
The other one that I thought would be perfect at some point, I think I've said this. I Told You Things. The beginning of I Told You Things for Gracie is literally...
The soundscape would be perfect.
You're the golden boy and my worst regret.
That fits Jeremiah.
That fits Jeremiah amazingly well.
Yeah.
I Told You Things that I never said. I just feel like I could really see a moment where that could be played and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I was also thinking, I don't think it would quite work. I wondered if maybe a part of How Did It End could come in.
Or, the sound of it.
The sound of it, for sure.
Know.
The lyrics are quite dramatic. So I don't know if it's too much for I don't know if it could be a kind of Conrad thinking back on how did it end, especially if he does a confession and she doesn't respond and it's like a devastation kind of thing. Or I was like, if and when it ends with Jeremiah, but I'm like, I don't know if it would quite fit that moment as well. But I feel like there's parts of that song that could fit really well, both lyrically and musically in the sound.
I think so too. Or even the Black Dog, I was
looking at that one too.
The sound of Black Dog.
Of it.
I think some of the lyrics, it's not as fitting for their situation.
But there's some lines that I think could work.
I would love Black Dog.
I would love that too. Can you imagine? That would be cool.
Okay. Our hope is, maybe Haunted too could still.
Yeah. I feel like Haunted is just such a Summer I Turned Pretty coded song. I'm surprised it hasn't been in the season yet.
This is my other, I don't think this is going to happen, but in an ideal world, I think as they find out about Jere's cheating accusation, we have Girl at Home.
Don't look at me, you've got to go.
Exactly.
No, that's not going to happen. Cool. Well, I think that was basically all the big points from this episode, I think just the last thing I kind of wanted to say, I feel like episode 5 was still a turning point for me. I feel like now we're in motion. I feel like I really liked the pacing of this episode, and I think there's some really pivotal, beautiful moments, just like I thought there were in episode 5. So I feel like we're on a good trajectory, and this is more the kind of show that I know and love.
I also think the next episode, there will be more movement even.
Yeah.
I would say even this episode, there were some very touching moments.
Yes.
But it didn't have the same energy per se.
Yeah.
As even I think future episodes may have.
For sure.
Because I think we're going to get more of the bombshells and it's still building to this overall climax.
Yeah.
I think that the 5th episode was a climax in terms of like hearing Conrad's perspective. Now we have Belly's narration back more so as well, in addition to her heartbeat. So like I think things are really moving and coalescing. And I do think the next episode there's going to be some major drama.
Yes.
Is my hope that they will cover.
I think you're right, because I think the last 2 episodes have been quite quiet, and I've really appreciated that. And I think even in the midst of not anything super dramatic happening, I feel like there's still been good pacing, and I've really enjoyed the way Jenny's kind of been writing the storyline. But I do think like there's some really big, huge dramatic plot points coming up, and it's going to be really cool to see how that all goes down.
I think so too. Okay, fingers crossed for confessions.
Or last call.
This is my confession.
Amazing. We will be back in 2 weeks to cover episodes 7 and 8. So stay tuned for that. And we would love to hear your thoughts on this episode. So if you have any reactions, any predictions, anything you'd like to share, we would love to hear it all. So leave it in the comments below. If you are enjoying the series, then we would love for you to subscribe to the channel. And we will see you in the next one.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.